Talofa from American Samoa. My name is Diana Pereira, and I am here with Lucia Pereira. She's my mom. Although she's my mom, I have grown up with just books everywhere in my house. So my love for reading comes from her collection of books. So our first question: what kinds of books did you read growing up, and why?
Okay, when I was in elementary, um, the only things that I really loved to read were the Hardy Boys and the Nancy Drew mysteries, uh, simply because they were the only books available or accessible to us. We had to get this collection from the library. Remember, these were the days when we had to physically go to the library to enjoy books. Later on in my high school years, the Harlequin romances were the famous ones for us teenagers, and some other bestsellers. They were accessible to us through our friends who could afford books. They came from good homes where there are so many books, and so we had a list in the class where if we're going to read a book, each of us are we write our name down, and then we'll get our turn. So I would be like the last to read the book simply because I want to keep the book.
Oh,
So yeah, were some of the books that we loved, um, and because we were able to get it, physically get it.
because it's not like nowadays we can read
Mm-hmm.
anything online.
Yes.
Okay. So I hear you mentioned the library. Did you go to the library often?
No, not during the school year, but during the summer. Oh, that's my favorite time. I would go to the library because they had a program where students would come in and enjoy a selection of 50 books or more, and they can get a lot of prizes. So every summer, I would walk 2 miles because the village where the library would be would like about 2 miles. So I would walk there and walk back in the summer after I do my chores just to get a lot of books. So I would get probably 5 books on one visit, and we also do book reports. So
Oh,
yeah, and that forces us to like really read a book and find information, the title of the books, and we would just turn it in. We would turn it in and get a lot of prizes. Okay, so to a young person, oh, that's so, to a little kid, that's so much fun, to get some prizes and to get to read the book. And that's how I was introduced to the Hardy Boys and the Nancy Drew mystery books. My love for mystery came out of that. I I swear I could have been like a detective or something, but I ended up teaching.
okay. So, looking back, are there any books or stories that have a great impression on you?
Yes, I enjoy a lot of different books and stories, but one that I really love, just thinking back, it made an impact on my mindset is The Old Man and the Sea. One of the stories, the novels that,
Those classics. Huh?
yeah, that one of our um, the teachers that we love introduced us to literature, and she actually like read it to us and then gave us the copy to pass around and read. That's one of the books when looking back, I feel like later on in your years, because now I'm a century old, I look back and yeah, that's one of the books that um, that just is like an inspiration book on your mindset and what you can do at any age. You know, you can do anything at any age. Um, when I was teaching in high school, there was this story that really stood out to me. It was a short story, and it's called "A Necklace," and it was by some, I forgot the author, but a very very hard author to pronounce. That starts with an M, but I think the first name is Guy. It's about being grateful, you know, and appreciative of what you have, you know, and that's one of the stories that stood out to me. Later on in my years now, I love to read self help books and just books, you know, that just inspire me, you know. So, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Would you recommend these stories to anyone, like any targeted audience, age group, and why?
I think for teenagers, the necklace certainly is a story of being, you know, appreciated, you know, um, and to know that other people are working hard, you know, and then not all, you know, not not everybody is appreciated the way they should be, and just overall being grateful for other people who are providing things for you. So the necklace for teenagers, I would certainly recommend it for them. But the Old Man and the Sea can be any age group from teenagers to whenever, you know, doesn't matter how old you are. It's a story of inspiration and how age doesn't matter in what you can do. Uh,
This is
so
for Old
yeah,
Man and the Sea. Huh?
the Old Man and the Sea. Yeah, it can be for any age. It's relevant for any age group.
And it's a classic.
Yes.
I've also
And
read
why
that.
would
We
I
also.
recommend it? Because we tend to, you know, not appreciate the little things in life. Teenagers, they don't appreciate that much until they get to work and know that everything costs, and what was I thinking for not appreciating these things that parents are trying to do? So, you know, and then why the Old Man and the Sea for any age? Yeah, because it's all about your mindset. You know, you're only limited to what you're thinking. So yeah, when you think it, the power of the mind is the mind is a very powerful thing. When you think it, yeah, you become it.
But wasn't the Old Man of the Sea a sad story?
It doesn't matter. It's how you interpret it and use it, internalize it. Yeah, I love it.
Yes. Speaking of which, that was in our book collection. I have read it from our book collection. Speaking of our book collection,
Yes.
what do you feel for books? Because I see it as I was growing up. It's everywhere. Like the space is just filled up with books. Why did you collect these books?
I don't know. I think it started from when I was in school, and you know, we remember we didn't have the internet, or so we just had this our class had this tradition. Okay, so we had a notebook and we would write all of our names down, and I would be like the last person. So we had this book. If there was a new book, the kids who bought the book from their families, you know, who could afford the books, they would write the name. I thought it was a great idea. They would write the name of the book on the top, and then everybody gets to turn to read it. So everybody in the class, so there were like about 20 of us. So it would take, and it doesn't take long for that book, for everyone to read that book. And I would be the last to, and I would collect it. I would leave it at
Oh, so
home.
your collection
And my
started
collection
early.
started early, like in elementary, middle school. And that's where I collected. And you know, sad to say, when I went off to college, I returned When I returned, all my book collection was gone. I think it was taking up a lot of space.
Of
And
course
so
it
my,
is. It does take space.
I know, and so I know it does, but I did,
Declutter,
donated a
yeah.
lot to other teachers, and they were like, they thought I was gonna charge them for the books, but I said, no, 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 just take them free. I don't, charge them, and they loved it. They took it to their library at their school, so I was glad to pass it along. But I'm still holding on to some books that I feel like, yeah, I don't know, I want to pass it on to my grandchildren. So I'm still leaving them here. Even my bedroom has a shelf.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, nice having, I mean, you're my mom. Of course, we live in the same building. But thank you for the opportunity to interview you. Um, Hope you take care. Thank you for your help.
Well, thank you for letting me share my story.